Hey, welcome to my channel. It's Bias Fanatic, the #1 place for unbiased sports news. If you could do me a favor, please like and subscribe for more sports content from around the world. All right, we're going to get right into it today. Dana White smacked his wife in a nightclub on New Year's. The next day, it was released by TMZ, and it gained some traction. But people started wondering, hey, why is he not getting suspended? Why is he not facing any repercussions for smacking his wife? And that led some people to say, hey, he's the owner. He could do what he wants. In fact, he's not an owner. He's the president, and he can be fired at any time. Then you have some people saying, oh, it's because of racism. If his name was Dana Black, he'd be suspended for 6 months, right? And I think both are missing a crucial part of this story that no one's really talking about besides us here at Bias Fanatic, your #1 place for unbiased sports news. And we're going to talk about what no one else is really willing to talk about. But first, I'm going to go over the hypocrisy that's in the media. We're going to show you how they responded to the Dana White situation, and then how they talk about players and how they respond to issues when players have them. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about the real issue. Please like, subscribe, and I'll be back after this audio clip.
Inordinate amount of times we've had to address subjects like this. We have to maintain consistency in pointing out, you do not put your hands on a woman if you are a man. You do not do it. Dana White knows that. And, all I can say is that, again, he has spoken out against men who put their hands on women before, and whatever punishment you would exact under these circumstances to somebody else is what he should apply to himself. But I love him.
I could see him doing something even stricter just because he's the leader, and he's the leader of men. So just to your point, not just what's enacted to a fighter, but maybe a little stiffer because he's the head. I just want to say a couple of things. They talked about being drinking heavily. When you're under the influence, not shining moments, often people don't make their best decisions. So in that sense, it's a cautionary tale. And in terms of it being an isolated incident, I've known Dana since I was 22. I have the utmost respect for him. And I don't judge people by their worst moment. I agree with you on that punishment part. And the other piece that I just want to say, as a woman, it was also his wife's hands on him. So no one should be putting their hands on anyone. Male, female, female, male.
Well, like I said, you're absolutely right. I don't disagree. I have nothing to add other than I just think it's important that if you're going to sit on this platform, you owe it to your audience to.
You don't judge people by their worst moment, Molly. That's all you do. What? Is she serious? I'm going to show you what she had to say when it's a player. Roll the clip.
And said 1 year, we don't want to see him on the field this season. I'm glad you brought up the owners. The personal conduct policy, it's too generic. There's a hard and fast rule for PEDs. There's a hard and fast rule for gambling, and there should be when you violate a woman. And I would like to see that be a year, and I would like it to
You guys see the energy she got? You see how she acts? But when it's a Brody, well, we gotta judge people not on their worst day, but on their average day. And the average day, he doesn't smack his wife. And you guys saw how Stephen A. Smith was with Dana White. Let's see what he has to say about Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons.
Notice I said Kyrie Irving is one of the most selfish superstars we've ever seen, and obviously one of the most selfish athletes we've ever seen. I didn't say the word the as in #1, because obviously he ain't got nothing on Ben Simmons. Nobody is worse than Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons might also be the weakest, most pathetic excuse for a professional athlete we have ever seen in not just American history, but the history of sports. I can't think.
Now, I mean, you guys can believe what you want. I don't believe Stephen A. Smith is racist. I believe he pushes whatever narrative his bosses tell him. And his bosses told him not to push that narrative, according to Jeff Wagenheim, who's an editor and writer at ESPN. So if he can't even say how he feels about it, surely the anchor can't either. And that begs one to think about, hey, why can't they talk about that, but they can talk about athletes any type of way they want? Why Sarah Spain, who has a lot to say about athletes, when it comes to Dana White, look what she had to say. Oh, I'm on break. Oh, I haven't looked at it yet. Yes, you have. And then look at some simp over here, Jose Wilson. Smart move, mainly because we get to champion a plethora of issues, but we shouldn't be responsible for all. Blessings. Shut up. This is her issue. This is what she does champion. She talks about women's issues. This is all she does talk about. The issue at hand. What are you talking about, bozo? 2 days, a day and a half after Kobe died, she already had an article on him. She had a hit piece about Kobe a day and a half after him and his daughter died in a plane crash. She needs 2 weeks notice about Dana White. No, they push what they want to push. And it's not just in sports media. They do this in all the other medias as well. And I'm going to talk about that later. But I just want to show you guys that it's not about what you guys are talking about. No one's talking about ESPN has a contract with UFC that's up in May. I haven't seen anyone talk about that. You see that? May 2018. Well, 5 years from there is, okay, do the math. This stuff, it starts to add up. QE Bono. All right? Look that up. And UFC, I think, was on pace to make $5 billion last year. So that contract is going to be worth quite a bit of money. And so you have that contract, but you also have them working directly with ESPN. Look at this. Adam Schefter, ESPN's top NFL reporter. All right, let's go down in this article. An email exchange between Schefter and a Washington football team president, Bruce Allen. Please let me know if you see anything that should be added, changed, tweaked, Schefter wrote to Allen. Thanks, Mr. Editor, for that, and trust, I plan to file this to ESPN about 6 a.m. The NFL teams are writing articles that the ESPN journalists, quote unquote, are publishing. So these narratives about these athletes are being pushed by the teams themselves, just like with the Draymond situation, where they published that. That was the team. These teams are pushing this stuff to the media. You know, exactly word for word. Tua Tagovailoa. This happened this year as well. They changed their narrative. When it was announced that he wasn't going to be able to play in his playoff game, let's go down in here. Let's scroll. All right, this was the Miami Times. You can go look at this yourself. But there's one key part. Marcus Spears, who works for ESPN, put it this way. Miami Dolphins have to be in the market for a quarterback. That's so unfortunate. Tua proved he's an NFL quarterback. Blah, 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 blah. What's important here, less debatable, is whether to give Tagovailoa a huge contract extension this offseason. A $200 million plus extension would be too risky at this point. When they were originally saying, hey, is he going to be back for the playoffs? Hey, when is he going to be back? When can he play? Well, now that his season is over, it's time to do hit pieces. Man, he's hurt too much. I mean, but where was that before? You see, that narrative changed because the team wanted it to change because they're not trying to pay him. Just like the Ravens aren't trying to pay the Lamar Jackson. Just like the Warriors wasn't trying to pay Draymond Green. Fights happen all the time. You know? And so they pushed this to save money. Millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And corporations, businesses, billionaires, the government, they use the media to sway public opinion. And so they push these narratives out there to paint these people as bad guys, or the reason why we're not going to pay, or the reason we're going to treat them this way, or the reason we're going to set this policy. It's all an illusion. And so if you come in here, right here, 6 companies control 90% of what you see, what you read, and what you listen to. And just 40 years ago, there was 50 companies. It went from 50 to 6. And so they're all intertwined. You know, CBS owns NFL.com, but Disney owns ESPN, who has NFL, you know, stories as well. Well, you think they're not going to work together? You don't think it benefits them that the NFL saves money, that these NFL teams go to them for stories? Well, write their own stories about their players. Bash these organizations, the NFLPA, during the CBA, their contract bargaining agreement process. And so that's what these billionaires, that's what the elite class does. Dana White is a part of the elite class. So that's why they told him, they said, hey, bro, you know, the patriarchy people complain about, he's part of it. They said, hey, not him. You could talk about Kyrie. You could talk about Tua Tagovailoa, Draymond Green, Lamar Jackson, but not our bro. And they do this in politics all the time. The Democratic Party does it. The Republican Party does it. Black people do it to black people. The powers that be. Hey, if you're the powers that be, this is what they do. This is what they use. And this is well known in their circles. They know it. All right? And so they set the rules. And as long as the sheep continue to just get slaughtered, everything is going to stay the same. They're going to set their own punishment. Like, look, Dana White confirms he won't be punished. And you know who confirmed that? Him. And I have the audio on that as well. If you don't believe me, we're going to go ahead and play it right now.
We've had plenty of discussions internally with Ari, ESPN. Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy about this, you know. Neither am I. But it happened. And I have to deal with it. And what is my punishment? Here's my punishment. I got to walk around for however long I live. Is it 10.4 years or is it another 25 years? And I got to, this is how I'm labeled now. My other punishment is that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, whether it be media, fighters, friends, acquaintances who had respect for me might not have respect for me now. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life that are way more of a punishment than what? I take a 30-day, 60-day absence? That's not a punishment to me. The punishment is that I did it, and now I have to deal with it.
You heard that right. His punishment for smacking his wife is that he smacked his wife. And he's got to live with the fact that he smacked his wife. You see, these rules are for you, not for them. The media is for them. They run the stories that they want them to run. They stay quiet on the stories that they want them to stay quiet on. They push what they want them to push. Right? There's a lot more stories out there that no one talks about, and that's why I created this channel. It's to put out stories that no one else is talking about. And I want to know how you guys feel about it. So please, below in the comments, let me know. You can agree, disagree. I will comment. I will respond, and we can have a debate in the comments if you want. if you want to hear more stories than just the Lakers and the Cowboys, make sure you subscribe. If you want to hear things from a different perspective than what they want you to know or what they want you to believe, like and subscribe. Until the next one, peace.